Hey,
Eh,
this is Zach Log the Great, and I am here tonight with Nate
Yo.
and with Lewis,
present.
and we are getting together tonight to discuss George Herbert's poem "Gratefulness."
Mm-hmm.
And so, as usual, before we get much farther, I just want to mention if you like my work, if you like what I do on my channel, please stop by subscribestar.com/Zachlog-the-great. I recently added just a $1 a month set on there, so if it's worth if the 6 or 7 videos I do a month are worth like a quarter each to you, um, go ahead and chip in that. And having said that, I think Lewis volunteered to read for us tonight, so I am going to go ahead and put the poem up on the screen, and there we go. All right, and
Aha. Alrighty.
Okay.
Then, oh, there it
Go
is.
ahead.
Alrighty, then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Gratefulness by George Herbert. Or Hebert, or Herbert, or however you like to pronounce it.
Hey, Bear, where is
Yeah, there you go.
Got the first R, it's probably Herbert. If it didn't have the R, it would be A-Bear.
Fair. All right, here we go. Thou, that hast given so much to me, give one thing more, a grateful heart. See how thy beggar works on thee by art. He makes thy gifts occasion more, and says, if he in this be crossed, all thou hast given him hithertofore is lost. But thou didst reckon when at first thy word our hearts and hands did crave, what it would come to at the worst, to save. Perpetual knockings at thy door, tears sullying thy transparent rooms, gift upon gift, much would have more and comes. This notwithstanding, thou wentest on, and didst allow us all our noise. Nay, thou hast made us sigh and groan thy joys. Not that thou hast not still above much better tunes than groans can make, but that these country airs thy love did take. Wherefore I cry and cry again, and in no quiet canst thou be, till I a thankful heart obtain of thee, not thankful when it pleaseth me, as if thy blessings had spare days, but such a heart whose pulse may be thy praise.
Okay, thank you. And Nate, would you care to lead off tonight?
Sure. Honestly, this poem does speak to me because, as we were discussing previously, I'm kind of in lean times. So, I'm praying for a lot of things. Just to stretch the things we have and, help us to make the ends meet and then help us to reduce our ends. But I'm making a point to say that I'm in lean times, not bad times, because I'm still surrounded by love. Lean times here is not like, it is in the past where, my family hasn't eaten in a day. We've got food, we've got shelter, we have all the things we need. We just don't have much more than that. Well, says the man with internet. I mean, come on, and a smartphone, right? I feel kind of absurd now to even say I'm in lean times with all this amazing stuff. We're the American version of lean times, which means we're stupid rich. And what are we really complaining about? I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to have gratitude that in this life I was born an American.
Amen.
Go flag. And that, I've been given the ability to earn and work. I'm I'm complaining about my job prospects in the best economy ever. So it's all momentary. And that's the thing about the poem, is that unless you have a grateful heart, your momentary woes will blind you to the massive and unbelievable blessings that exist in your life. Just to be alive in God's good world is a blessing. Even if you're living in freaking, Afghanistan or Mogadishu or, some hellhole like San Francisco, you're still in the best, most prosperous times. I mean, people are rising from, acute poverty and starvation all over the world every day. And freedom is spreading and breaking chains everywhere on earth, and the gospel is moving forward. These are good times. Even as we get angry about, these anti-science goobers who can't figure out which bathroom to use, and people trying to erode the foundations that are they're breaking all these chains. They're trying to throw away the chisels and hammers that knock the shackles from people. It's still good times. It's still an amazing time to be alive. And so, you know what? I'll take my American lean, thank you very much, and be happy about it, because I am blessed. The gospel is a thing. The love of God embraces me each day I wake up and each night as I sleep. All right. And it watches over my children and my wife when I can't be there, and it guides my country, because I can't be president right now.
Yeah, let's wait 5 minutes on that.
Well, I mean, I'm old enough now, as of 30th, so coming for you, people. But anyway, that's it. Just there's so much to be grateful for when you look. But if you don't have a heart of gratitude, you won't look. You will look for things to be upset about. And so, for God's sake, be grateful. Actually, no, not even for God's sake. For your own sake. Big finger of point. In fact, knife hand.
The other thing, like kind of like what you just said, the world is like, for the vast majority of us, there's so much good in the world that you can always see something to be grateful for. Also, for a lot of people, there's so much bad in the world that you can always find something to be angry or frustrated or afraid about. And so it's all a question of where you're looking, where you choose to turn your, and what kind of attitude you choose to take. And so it's gratitude is a choice. It's something you can decide to do or not to do. And no one, I mean, there are people in circumstances very, very bad who at the moment don't have a lot to be grateful for. I'm not any of those people. I can think of very few times in my life where I could have legitimately been one of those people. And so, it's, like I said, it's a choice. It's a decision where you choose to focus your attention, and no one else can do that for you. So, Lewis, so after reading, oh, go ahead.
That's like most of the, positive, states of being. I'm not going to say positive feelings or emotions, because your feelings and emotions aren't something you can really control. They go You know, they go this way, they go that. They're tossed by the wind. You know, they're a kite in a tornado, just all over the place. But your state of being, you know, you choose these things, right? The Bible says, you know, bless the Lord, oh my soul. That's not, oh dear, my soul is blessing the Lord. That is a command. All right. That is an imperative statement. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. You know, we sing it like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, this is a natural thing. No,
Not
oftentimes
always.
not. You know, you choose gratitude, right? You choose joy. You choose love, right? These aren't feelings, they're choices. There are things that you do. There are things you set your mind to. And so, like I said, that's been lost on a lot of people, but I feel like it's always worth saying when the chance comes up that remember, you get to choose how you are going to be. Not necessarily how you feel, but how you will be. You're a human being, not a human feeling.
That is very true, sir. Mm.
So, Lewis, what's your first take on this poem?
I gotta admit, it's mixed because at first I'm honestly not sure who he's pointing or talking to, but as I go on, I get more of a feel for the emotions and the thoughts that are felt by something like this, and our patriotic friend here has previously stated that joy is a command because we don't always want to be joyful or happy or grateful or even positive because sometimes we can give in to despair, doubt, the more negative aspects of our condition, and by choice we go, hey, I'm gonna like what I'm doing, where I am, and how I am because God has smiled upon me today. And I honestly got a bit of that this evening when I was at a community theater and just all these people were just all around and we were getting ready for a performance and we were getting all wound up and all kind of prepped and everybody was nervous because we've got performances tomorrow, but we all liked what we were doing. We all liked the people. We all liked our work, even though none of us were getting paid. This is community theater, man. And yeah. But there was a lot of very joyful, very positive, very grateful energy. And I gotta admit that I didn't quite get what he was writing about until just tonight. I was like, so this is what he's talking about. Okay, I get it. I get it.
So I do think it's kind of funny, and I mean really well done the way he sets this up because it's you know, he's talking to God and he says, God, you've done all these things for me, and so now I'm asking you this: give me give me a grateful. And you know, if you are a Christian, then you have to acknowledge, like, what is it, that like all of the good that is in you is not something you did, it's something that God gave.
Let me be clear.
And so
You didn't build that.
Ah.
and so even the ability to thank God for what He has given you, and to make that sincere, and put that into practice, is something you have to get from God. And it's like a kind of funny irony, and it's I remember it's actually I don't know if you guys know this, where the name of the band, Sixpence None the Richer, comes from a C.S. Lewis book. Okay, and we are back. All right. So, sorry about the technical difficulties there, and I will resume saying what it was I was saying earlier, which I actually remember. Um,
That's
but like
good.
whenever we do something good, whenever we do something good, whenever we seek to do something to serve God, like even our desire to do that, and our ability to do that is a grace that God has given us. And so, it's actually, I don't know how. It's been a while since they were really popular, but there's the band Sixpence None the Richer, and their name actually comes from a song, not a song. Their name actually comes from a part of a book by C.S. Lewis, where he says, um, you know, it's when we attempt to do something good to please God, it's kind of like when a little boy goes up to his dad and says, "Daddy, can I have sixpence so I can go buy you a present?" And he says, "Only a complete fool would think that dad comes out of that sixpence ahead." At the same time, the dad is unless he's a complete jerk, is quite pleased with what his kid is doing, even though he's not. It's not like even if it's not getting him anything better. He understands that his kid is doing this, because he loves him, and so this is that, like, God, teach me to be grateful, and then like the poem says in the second stanza, um, he makes thy gifts occasion more, and says, if he in this be crossed, like, and if you don't teach me to be grateful, then, like, it's kind of your own fault. uh, it's just, it's really funny and ironic, and I was looking for a poem to do for Thanksgiving, and like the first things I came across are all kind of sappy and saccharine, and it's I was very I was happy, gratitude, thankfulness to God, but there's a lot of intelligence going on in here too. So anyway, that's my first thoughts on this one.
Man, Sixpence None the Richer.
Mm.
He's showing his Gen X roots, man. I haven't thought about that band in 20 years.
I have not even heard of that band.
There
Well,
we
yeah, I
go.
mean, like it ran, jumped right over the millennials and all of that. Just you poor Gen Z kids are gonna be like, who? What? But then you're gonna look them up and be like, why were they popular? It was
Or
the
they're
'90s, guys. Don't worry about it.
either that or they're
Honestly,
gonna be
I
like,
think I hope I'm not being too pretentious with this. I liked their stuff before they were popular better than the stuff that was than
You're
the
a six.
albums that they put out than
You're
the
a
albums that
sixpence hippie. Oh, I'm sorry, hippie. Jesus God Almighty.
hips.
You're a sixpence hipster. I like sixpence before they were popular.
oh.
You gonna grow you a pencil mustache there and sip you some lattes?
No, that's
Yeah.
my job. That's my job. I gotta do the whole pencil mustache thing.
Well, I
One
am,
guy good with a pencil mustache, and that was one of my drill instructors in basic.
Oh,
That dude, Sergeant Mercado, if you're still out there, you're the man.
whew.
so what was I do have to say, on the whole, I like this poem a lot. I think it's really well done. But let's see, one, two, three, four. The fifth stanza there. No, wait, no, the sixth stanza. There's just that one part, really kind of awkward, really easy to trip over. And it just, like, you lost your flow, George. You lost your flow. not that thou hast not still above much better tunes than groans can make. Getting through that line without getting tongue-tied is pretty tough.
Put it back up.
Oh, 1 second. Let's see. Screen sharing, application window. There we go.
I love the backlog here, doing a public service announcement for the instructions too. Not that thou hast not still above much better tunes than groans can make, but that these country airs thy love did take. Not that thou hast not still above. I don't know, man. Maybe I've been practicing my Yoda speech too much, but difficult that does not seem.
I understand it. I understand what he's saying, but something about it is very. I tend to stumble over it when I'm trying to say it. Well, it loses rhythm, I guess, is the thing. And for those of you who haven't studied Shakespeare or anything, or older literature, country airs would be like back what was rural back country, like not sophisticated city music. It's what those people out in the sticks can manage to put together.
It's what those plebs listen to way off in the countryside, the peasants.
Yeah, a bit of fiddle music, because we know how to make violins awesome.
Yeah. Us and our didgeridoos and drums. Yeah, we're gonna make some good music.
So what was oh, I'm trying to think. Was there?
Get you a banjo, son.
And this is actually another one where, like I said about some of C.S. Lewis's poems, like it has a pretty solid kind of logical structure, but it also, really, it really grabs you emotionally at the very end. Not thankful when it pleaseth me, as if thy blessings had spare days. It's like just the fact that I am breathing today is, a blessing that I need to be thankful for.
Amen.
And there's so, like Nate was saying earlier, oh, well, I guess I have this big list of first world problems to deal with today. And so, God, even in our worst times, God has done so much for us. His blessings do not have spare days. He doesn't take a day off from, loving us and taking care of us. And even, when things get truly awful, and I'm not going to deny there are people who, experience, real suffering, real pain. If you take into account all he has done for us, it's not, his blessings don't have spare days. And, learning to, deliberately be grateful, learning to, find time to thank God, every day is, it's a choice. And if you do it deliberately, if you do it consistently, it's a choice that can make your life so much better. Even if nothing else changes, just the fact that you're saying that you're thinking, okay, what do I need to be thankful for today? The fact that you are focusing your attention on that place changes, can change so much.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say a rather poignant observation, sir. Well played.
So, I don't know. I think I think I covered most of what I wanted to say. So, either of you can feel free to take over at this point.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and avail myself of the NCO's tradition and say, well, to piggyback on what he was saying, the last stanza to me encapsulates the heart of worship. It is that idea that, I'll praise you in this storm, to quote Casting Crowns, or, for an older tune, it is well.
Do you
When peace like
know?
a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, it is well.
Do you know the
Whatever
history?
happens, whatever is going on, God is worthy of praise for all that he is and all that he has done. And I will give him that praise, even if it's, through my gnashing teeth.
But do you know, by the way, the history of that song? Because I'd actually thought of that earlier, and then you
Which
brought it
one?
up. So I feel yes,
Yeah.
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 So it is well with my when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll. Um, his family. This was written in, let's see, uh, published in 1876. It was written by Horatio Spafford, who I gotta say, that's a fascinating name.
Spafford.
Horatio Spafford. It sounds like the name of a character in a comedic early 20th century British novel. But anyway, but
I can see him
I,
being
I,
a Pratchett character too.
but to get back to, yeah, actually, yeah, that sounds pretty close. But yeah, so when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Okay. Um, when sorrows like sea billows roll, this was written after his four. Let's see. His son died at the age of 2, and his family he was in America, his family was in England, and his family was coming uh, by ship across the Atlantic to join him. The ship sank. His wife survived. All 4 of his daughters died. And he wrote, when sorrows like sea billows roll, it is well with my soul. That he chose those words, that he put that to paper in this song of, of thanks and peace with God. There's like, some people say, well, what's your evidence, what's your proof that God exists? And I realize that this is not like scientific proof. This is not like, court worthy evidence, but that is evidence that something real is changing that man's life. Because to be able to say that, to deliberately, put that down on paper, I he was something more than human is working through that man. I don't know what else to say.
Well, that's the right thing to say. Like I said, I mean, naturally, you're going to feel as though he has every right to, to go along with Job's wife, the whole let's just curse God and die. Naturally. So he reached for something that is above natural, something that's, let's say, super natural. And he took a hold of the peace that passes understanding. Understand this, that when Christians say that, oh, I have peace that passes understanding, it doesn't mean that our times are peaceful or our circumstances are peaceful. It means that our hearts and our souls are peaceful. And through the work of the Spirit, even we look around and go, I should be wigging out. I should be a broken down mess. But thank you, Lord, that you still my heart. You rein in my thought. You soothe my pain, and you help me to live through these circumstances, what would make other people a manic mess. So I don't understand myself why I am peaceful, but I know that it comes from God. And so the reaction of a true believer in hard times is to worship. The reaction of a true believer in hard times is not to run away from God, but to press in, because we know that he's where the help is and he's where the salvation is going to come from. It makes us look like crazy people.
Well, and at the same time,
You're not
I will
wrong.
say, like, if you look at the book of Job, Job didn't, and at the end of the book, basically God says, you other people, you're morons. Job is the only one who spoke truly of me. And Job is not saying, oh, this is all great. He's saying, I don't understand, what is this? Why is this happening? What is this for?
Well, moreover, Job says, God, I demand you come down here and defend yourself. And that's one of my favorite parts of the Bible is that God says, okay, Job, I'm here. And you know what? My answer to you is, you won't get it.
But
that's the whole thing. It's like, I can't even explain to you in a way you would comprehend the reasons this is going on and the reasons I do anything. For instance, look at all of creation. Can you even understand one day's worth of this? Of the magnificence and complexity of all of this together? No, you can't. Here, see Behemoth, see Leviathan. They can crush armies and, like just devour ships full of men. Can you call either one of them to your hand in the morning, or are these your creatures? Or would they obliterate you without even realizing you were there? Okay? That's my level. That's the level I, God, am on.
And
what do you got, Job? And Job is like, good boy.
But like I was saying, like God says of Job, like, he is my righteous servant. He is the one who spoke rightly of me. And Job is not just happy fun times. Job is saying, God, why? I don't understand. But he also says, but you are still God. I still trust you. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Though he take literally everything from me, I love him, I trust him, but why? And God doesn't rebuke him for that. Now God does say, like you said, I'm God here, you're not, so back down. But he's not angry. He's not. I don't know. And so
that's the most honest answer God could give him. Because to try and offer any reasoning, he would have to dumb it down so far it becomes a lie.
Let's be honest.
And so he just says, look, Job, you'll never understand.
And let's be honest here. God did not owe him an answer.
And there is no answer I can give you, truthfully, that would fit inside your head.
True.
So his basic answer is, just trust me. You're already on the right path.
It's like a 3-year-old going into the doctor's office, not sure why he's getting his vaccines.
Yeah. Like I said, it's hard to take. But In the end, you go,
So they can give you autism.
Why?
And now I've made everybody angry.
Excuse me.
I'm just,
I'm sorry. It was just the target was there. Sometimes I can't help myself.
Is it safe to come out now?
oh
Okay.
man, this guy's killing me. Just like
Oh.
Epstein.
Oh. Oh.
Who I would like to mention did not kill himself.
Mm. You know what I do have to you know what I would like to think about just for a second. You actually hit on something rather poignant that not everything goes our way and that sometimes we get hit by some of the worst things possible. That actually reminded me of a musical composer, Beethoven, because this guy had he was a genius, but he had the short end of the stick, especially later on in life, because he was a composer who was going deaf. He had literally no family. He was losing patrons, and his nephew, who he had literally raised as a son, had tried to kill himself. So he was in a bad state. And then right after that, he turned and he offered up one of the best, most well-known uh, hymns in the world, the Ode to Joy.
Wait, Ode to is Ode to Joy Beethoven?
Do 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 do.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a pedantic. This is just bothering me now.
That's okay.
I feel like I'm
That's
being a pedantic
Beethoven?
jerk about this.
Well, I think it was him. I do know that he wrote one of his greatest pieces after he started going deaf. And I was under the
Okay,
impression that was his Ode to Joy.
Ode to Joy, Ode to Joy theme by Beethoven. Okay, yeah, no, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
Not so. Hey,
oh,
man.
it was a Handel's Messiah. That's what I was thinking of. Okay,
Ah, okay.
okay, got it.
Get, getting our music straight.
Yes,
Hey, man, I
I
appreciate you keeping me on the level. Thanks.
I got I handle I know literature, English literature more. Music is not. I'm not quite as I'm less of an expert on, and I'm not even an expert on literature. I just know more than a lot of people.
My good sir, you are our expert on literature.
So yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Beethoven
Uh,
and the Ode to Joy.
Oh, that's pretty much it. That he instead of doing what your average Joe Schmo does, turn to drink, turn to despair, just fall apart and fall to pieces, he turned to something higher than himself and taking his grief, his pain, his anguish, and turned it into a beautiful a prayer.
Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't at some level like the external circumstances are not what determine how your reaction. It is your choice. Two people can look at exactly the same set of circumstances and come and reach entirely opposite conclusions. One person could be raised by alcoholic abusive parents and say, well, that's what my family is. That's where I come from. That's what my genes are. I guess that's what I'm going to be, and do exactly the same thing. Another person can be raised by alcoholic abusive parents and say, I saw what they did, and I am never going to do anything like that. And, you know, never touch a drop, never touch alcohol in their life, and go on to be fantastic parents. Now, it's
Teetotalers.
not
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy, but at the same time, the input, like, we aren't just, human beings are not just, computers. Like the input and the output, like there's something in between there that has some element of choice. How much and how much choice we have, and how much we can change things, we don't know. But there's something in the middle there that is up to us, and we have, and gratitude for, to return back to the subject, gratitude is a choice, and you can choose that at any given point. Well, and it's like, if you read the old story, the stories of the Christian martyrs, the being tortured to death, and singing hymns to God in the midst of this, or like Saint Lawrence, who was, they he was taken by the Roman authorities. He was tortured to death. They put him on this big iron griddle and lit a fire under it, and cooked him to death. And like at one point he said, "Turn me over, I'm done on this side."
Now, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, somebody was roasted that day. I'm not sure if it was the Roman or Lawrence, but I do know there was a roast going on there.
That's at that point it became kind of mutual. Turn me over, I'm done on this side.
Jeez.
And he's not the only one, and then the people who were doing this to them, watching this and watching the absolute refusal to even let their spirit break, converted some of the people who were doing this to them. And it's, again, it's God's grace. It's not something we do ourselves, and it is our choice, and it's both. And how much of what is, that's again, another thing that Christians have been arguing about for literally 2,000 years now, and will continue to argue until the end about. Hopefully we can keep the argument in friendly terms, although it hasn't always been.
It comes and goes.
Well, I mean, see, I made a comment in my video about the roots of reason that, beliefs, right, can be talked about, argued, move toward or away from each other as, to get them closer to the truth. But once you try and, elevate something that is simply a belief to the level of truth, it becomes inflexible. And at that point, the only response is fighting. Sometimes our discussions turn into wars because it's easier to, just kill the other guy than to actually, have your belief system challenge and have the things you put as your foundation to have them shaken. I feel like it was an interesting talk if y'all would like to go check it out. But
you have piqued my curiosity. I would like to I'd like to be in on this.
okay.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I thought I'd watched all of your videos so far, but I don't know if
I've got 30 subscribers and already YouTube's throttling my output. Nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just send me a link on over, and I'll check it out.
Sure.
Okay, yes. And so for those of you who have not caught my the previous announcements on this channel, my friend Nate has his own YouTube channel now. I thought I'd watched them all, but that doesn't sound familiar. I'll toss a link in the description of this video for those of you who haven't seen that yet. Well, I think I've covered most of what I wanted to say about this poem. Nate, how about you? Any last thoughts here? Or you pretty much got it?
No, we've covered it. Gratitude is a choice. There's an infinity of things every day about which to be grateful, and all of these good things and these wonderful gifts come from God, so praise him.
Amen.
Lewis,
Hmm.
anything else from you?
Honestly, I agree with you guys' points, and I agree with being grateful, being alive, unlike Epstein, who did not kill himself.
Let's
Okay.
keep rolling. Yeah.
Well, it's been a good talk, and thank you guys for joining me, and thank you everyone for who's listened to this, and thank God that this could happen tonight, and good evening.
Goodbye.